Hey everybody, I'm here with Yosef Lee. Yosef, your bro Sif. How's it going?
I'm doing great, Josh. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So we're talking to Yosef today. You were able to complete your first deal during COVID, and despite the odds against you, and having to work your job and being remote and everything being different. Walk me through the experience of when you decided to get into multifamily all the way up through your first deal.
Sure. A little introduction of myself. I'm a full-time W-2 attorney in New York City, South Korean immigrant, father of two girls, and I did not own any investment properties prior to my first big multifamily, not even singles or never done any flipping. So literally, this first deal is my first real estate experience. And when I started, being from New York and city where there's no cash flow, when it comes to real estate, including myself, our thought process is you buy uh, single or duplex, and then you keep it and sell it when the price goes skyrocket because appreciation market, right? And then, however, you lose the property, you make a lot of money, but you pay a chunk of taxes, and now you got to find another property to do the same. And without having, and the entry price is really high. So from my experience, I really couldn't find anything bigger than 2, 3 units properties. However, by reading Robert Kiyosaki books and also reading books from other out of state investing gurus and listening to the podcasts like Michael Blank's, and I had this idea of going after a cash flowing apartment. And based on Michael Blank's and also Grant Cardone's uh, their advice, I actually started looking into bigger properties more than 10, 20 units because that's where the scalability is. That's where the commercial side, how it works. And so I started learning and doing some self-education about how residential side real estate, small multifamily is different from commercial side, big multifamilies, forced depreciation and tax benefits and possibility of cost segregation. So was just doing self-education, listening to the podcast and watching the videos, YouTube. And at one point, I realized I was really not taking any actions. I was just simply absorbing the information by just doing self-education. So I wanted to take the next step. So I did a lot of networking at the time and ended up joining a mastermind. And through the mastermind, real education, real networking started, and I started taking a lot of actions. So I met a couple of people through that mastermind, and with them, we started underwriting deals together, 30, 40, 50 to find a good one. And once it's a good one, we check the properties, and if it's good to put in a letter of intent. We once we really liked the property, we lost, but we towards the end of the 2020, we found this good property through one of my partner's friend who knew the seller directly, and we underwrote the deal, and we really liked it. So we did the inspections, etc., and we got it under contract. So in a nutshell, that's a little bit of my real estate journey background and how we came to that first deal.
That's awesome. So I've always, more and more it's been happening where yeah, I've been a part of masterminds for a long time, and as soon as I got around a group of people that were saying the same things and thinking about the same things as me and moving at the same speed or a little bit faster than me, I started improving immediately. And I keep hearing that more and more. When you put yourself in the right room with the right people, the results really are inevitable. And so tell me, obviously there are some skills that you need to create to become a multifamily investor, but talk to me about the power of just being around other people that are doing the same things, that can speak that same language. What kind of impact did that make on you?
So in the beginning, just like everyone, I had also my own set of limiting beliefs. There's no way that I could invest outside of my backyard because I'm here in New York. How can I invest some other states where I've never been to, right? How can I trust others? You need lots of money to start with. Also, I got to start small, like single or duplex, before even going to the bigger multifamily. Maybe education is a cost. So these are the limiting sets of belief that I had. And then by associating myself with like-minded, high-performance individuals, I was able to crush all these limiting beliefs. I met my partner through the mastermind, who's in Kansas City. So the property is in Kansas, Lawrence, Kansas, about a little south west of Kansas City, and I was able to network with him. I already had some level of trust of him because I knew, just like myself, he made a financial commitment to be in the group. That kind of tells me that he's serious and he's committed, right? Through the further networking, I realized his philosophy of investing and his life philosophy, work ethic are all aligned with me. So that's one thing that I was able to crush the limiting belief by surrounding myself with highly motivated people. And because I was able to meet a boots on the ground partner in out of state, obviously my limiting beliefs of how can I invest out of state was crushed through him. I was able to find the property, and I was able to get the skill set that I was lacking, being in the local market and actually looking into the property. So I was able to do it through him. At the same time, I was able to add value to him by adding my legal skill sets. And I was reading the operating agreements. I was reading the contracts, and to make it easy for them and things like that. So that was the value that I was able to add. And also, a little bit of business structure, being savvy in that, and being able to talk the talks and the terms, talking to the lenders, talking to the institutions. So that's how I added value to him. So as a team, we were able to complement each other. We had another person from California who was more advanced in syndication and apartment investing. And with him, we could have experience component in there. So as a team, we became well-rounded in one way or the other. And then that's how we were able to earn the credibility from the seller and the broker.
Yeah, and you really touched on something important there, where one piece of advice that I received a long time ago, and I like to kind of pay that forward, is if you're already kind of good at something, get really good at that, and then find somebody else who's really good at the other thing. Because in this industry, the jack of all trades truly is the master of none. We want you to be a master of one. You coming in with your experience as an attorney, obviously you're going to understand the legal frameworks of any agreement in any situation. And then being able to find somebody who is great with putting together a syndication, raising capital, that's a good addition to a team. Finding somebody who's awesome with underwriting is a good addition to a team. And you three together were able to go and make that happen. And that's another kind of power of being in the right room, because it kind of takes a little bit. Have you noticed, Yosef, that once you realized you were in this room and, Joe so-and-so already has the skills that I'm looking for, what a relief, man. I don't have to come up with that skill anymore. Did that kind of happen?
Right. And also it gives you the chance to execute things faster, right? Let's say somebody found a deal, it comes to you, and if you have to underwrite the deals with enormous amount of information within a short period of time, as opposed to, let's say we have somebody who's really killing in underwriting, and we just pass the information to him, he will probably underwrite it within half amount of time that compared to how everyone else will underwrite it. But at the same time, I could focus on some other things that I'm good at or best at, like legal stuff, and then explain things to him without him going through all this 20, 30 page legal documents. I could just go through it overnight and then just pick some gist out of it and then explain things to the team so that they could understand, and they could, give me some comments, and I'll just deliver that to the attorneys, and etc. So yes, the point that you just made is critical. because this is not a one-man show. This is teamwork.
And so if somebody is watching this video, Yosef, who is in a similar position to where you were when you started, and you had just enough time to give them one little piece of advice that's gonna really change everything. Just think back to that time when you know what, this is the direction I want to go. I want to get started with this.
Mm-hmm.
What is that piece of advice that you would want to share to somebody else now that you're on the other side of it?
Trying to find your niche. You got to understand, you got to reflect yourself, your skill set, and your background to find your own niche. For example, if you're somebody from like myself, New York, California, the coastal lines, it's not a good market for the multifamily that we're trying to do, the cash flowing, right? So that role is gone. You can't be boots on the ground. Now then you got to turn your head to the next. What skill set or what value can I add, right? For example, I see 7 or 8 team member or team components in a well-rounded syndication or multifamily apartment investing team. I see boots on the ground partner. I see underwriter. I see capital raiser. I see somebody who's good at networking with landlord and brokers relationship, with capital raising, investor relationship, somebody who has prior experience to give the credibility to the lenders, somebody who has a high net worth individual. Again, it doesn't have to be 7 or 8 partners, right? Maybe 2, 3, 4 partners can fulfill all these roles, maybe taking 2, 3 roles at the same time. But the point is, you can't be the Superman taking up all these 7, 8 roles, especially when you start. You don't have the experience. That role is gone. If you have a whole lot of money, it's a different story. I didn't have. So the net worth was gone for me. I couldn't be the boots on the ground. So if you just take those roles off your list, you only have a handful. Like you could probably underwrite the deal. You could probably do cold calling for the brokers trying to find the deals. But unless you have credibility, it's going to be tough. You could probably raise capital. So you see how you should narrow down in reality your realistic roles and realistic skill sets that you could add value. If you cannot do anything else other than raising capital or underwriting the deals, then you're going to need somebody who's more experienced, who has already sponsored the deal, and team up with him and earn the credibility. You are not going to be doing your own deal until first or second deals with that sponsor, until you have enough credibility under your belt. And then you could probably start nurturing your own team. But until then, even if you find a deal, you got to hand it over to the sponsor and then ask for maybe a little bit of equity or GP share so that you could build your credibility. That's the advice I would give out.
Words of wisdom right there. Just find that piece of the work that you can do best and offer that skill to somebody else who really needs it. So
yes, definitely.
Yeah. Yosef Lee, is there anything else that you'd like to share if somebody wants to learn more about you, or where do they go to engage with you and ask you any kind of questions?
I'm very active on social media. You could find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram just by punching in my handle, Yosef Your Brosef. So YOSEF YOURBROSEF.
There you go, Yosef Your Brosef. Thanks so much for sharing your story with us today here, Yosef. And so for those of you who are interested in learning more about investing in multifamily, you can visit themichaelblanc.com. We also have a mentorship program where you can learn more about getting some help, one-on-one guidance. And you can access that by going to themichaelblanc.com/mentor. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Josh.